what makes the projector different than everybody else? I like to say the projector is like the foreman of society. Like in a construction field, they literally are here to take a step back to witness the entire big picture. They have the gift of foresight and have the gift of insight. So we're a sacral being, like we're gonna work and 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 work until we find our way out of the maze.
Yeah.
We will just keep working until we figure our way out of the maze. And they're like, if you literally just did this, your life would be so much easier. So we do not have the gift of foresight or the gift of insight. Like it really is just moment to moment. Our nose is as close to the dirt as it possibly can be in terms of like seeing what we're going to do in this lifetime. So we're responsible for letting go of this pressure of like having to attain this very big specific goal in the future. That's what keeps us trapped. That's what keeps us fucked up. I'm here to be satisfied from moment to moment. And over time, all of those satisfaction moments, they lead up to this very big, beautiful life, kind of like in hindsight a little bit. It's like from moment to moment, I'm brought to things that I'm like, I want to do that, absolutely. Like manifestables. I never thought that that would be possible. All of a sudden, I'm brought to an opportunity, and I'm like, I'm the one that does this thing, right? And who am I? It doesn't even matter. I was just in the right moment at the right time. The universe is like, you are the right person to put into this place, right? Now, every Manifestival, I'm always going to have the opportunity to speak at. And, you know, working with the people from Manifestival, I'm like, y'all are literally like really cool people, you know?
Really special. Yeah.
So the projector, they have this gift of foresight and have the gift of insight. So they really can see the big picture and where the map is taking them. But not just them, everybody else too. So they can have foresight for other people. Here's the challenge that they have is that with all this foresight that they have to give, they have to wait for a recognized invitation to share that information with the people. Because if they don't wait for an invitation to share that insight, it lands like a ton of bricks. What ends up happening is there's like a dissonance in the frequency of the like what they're saying. And so they could be like, oh my God, I love your earrings. But if a projector does that without an invitation to like give you a compliment, you're gonna be like, why? What's wrong with them?
If I was a projector.
No, if I was a projector saying that to you,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, I love your earrings. And what happens is my aura will get you to be like,
Ah.
why? What's wrong with my earrings? It's just like a fear of judgment or something like that. Or it's like, oh my God, I love your hair. Well, I didn't get it cut. Right? And it's just like almost like or it's like, I'm giving you an opinion. You're like, well, I didn't ask your opinion. It's just like a repelling in a way, right? So what ends up happening is that the projector's aura is focused and it's penetrating. Their aura penetrates through all of the masks that you put up and sees you at the core of who you are.
Wow.
And so very often what they end up sharing, the insight that they have to share is for that inner being. And we're not ready to receive insight at that level. I put masks up for a reason because I'm not ready to deal with this, right? And the fact that you see right through it, it's uncomfortable. So the projector's aura is focused and it's penetrating and gets right to the core. It'd be like them walking in on you naked. And you're like, ah, did not want this. This is not accepted, right? But if they were invited to enter the room when you're, not clothed, that would be a wholly different situation. And there would be a lot more ease. There would be a lot less repelling that's happening. So I like to say that manifestors and projectors are two parts to the same coin. One is just more masculine and one is more feminine. So the manifestor is like a masculine leader. It's more yang energy. Like I'm going to go and do it and create it. The projector, they're here to be a leader, but they're leading in a more feminine flow kind of way where it's like they're being invited to become that leader. So they, like the manifestor, also have an inherent lack of energy because they also don't have the sacral center.
Okay.
So it means that they have a lot less pool of energy to work with, but even less than a manifestor. The manifestor and the generator, and the sacral being, they're considered energy beings, where a projector is considered a non-energy being. Where the manifestor gets their energy is that inspiration, that lightning bolt that just powers through them, and it just literally like makes them zing, and they're like, oh my goodness, like, I can get all this shit catalyzed. The projector, they don't get that. It's the invitation that inspires them and gives them energy to do anything. But they have to wait for an invitation to actually do the things that they're here to do. So the invitation, it's formal and it needs to be recognized. So I give every single projector a like flow chart as to how their strategy and authority kind of works out, and they need to follow that flow chart for the rest of their lives at every level of their life. And the first part of the flow chart is asking, was I invited here? Now, an invitation, it literally is at every level. Was I invited to clean up the clothes on the floor? Was I invited to do the dishes? Was I invited to make this food? Was I invited to show up at this event? Was I invited to go to this thing?
So what, they just don't do things on their own?
Not that they don't do things on their own. It's just a matter of like, to do the things, it can't be initiated. If I want to go eat, I'll go eat because I want to go eat. That's okay. But if it's in relation to the other, it needs to be invited. Because the reason why is, let's say if I were a projector, we were living together and I see that there's clothes on the floor, I'll go pick it up. What I'll say is that all a projector wants to do in their lifetime is to share love. That's it. They have such deep insight of how like they could help someone else. All they want to do is share that love with someone else. But because of this like projected aura, this like refraction that ends up happening with what they're sharing or what they're doing, it doesn't show up visibly the way that they think it's going to land. They have to be invited or else it won't land the same way. So if I were to go pick up your clothes and I'll be like, hey, like I cleaned up the clothes, and you'll be like, why? Did you think that I wasn't going to pick up after myself? Like, why? You think that I'm not able to do this? It's this like retaliatory almost kind of energy. It's a repelling energy, but like to the projector instead of away from the manifestor, and so they have to be invited at every single level of every single thing that they're doing, so that way they can access their inner authority. So they need to wait for an invitation. Now, if they're not invited, the flow chart, it's a no. You're not invited, don't do it. Clothes are on the floor, you're not invited to pick it up, don't do it. Because you're not going to get the reciprocation of energy that you need in return. You're going to be repelled because of it. So it's there. You've never invited me, I won't do it. Now, what I'll say, an invitation, you can inform someone that you're looking for an invitation, like a projector can. Informing, anybody can do it. So in this regard, a projector could be like, I have insight of how I think that you could live a better life. But I'm not going to say it that way because you're going to be like, well, I don't want that, right? It'll be like, hey, I have something on my heart that I'd love to share. Would you be open to hearing it without fear of judgment? You're going to be a lot more open to hearing what the projector has to say, knowing that it's like coming from love, knowing that it's not like meant to be judgy, not meant to be anything, right? And I'll be like, yeah, sure. Like I would love to hear. Here's the invitation, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about like, how can you get the invitation through informing first, right?
Yeah.
That's not initiating. Some people will say that's initiating. No, you're informing. Hey, I have insight that I'd love to give you. You have the responsibility to say yes or no. If it's a yes for you, you'll say yes. And if it's no, you will tell me no. And I will say thank you because I'm not going to waste what little energy I have on someone that's not going to hear me in the first place. I'm not going to go waste my energy picking up something you don't want me to pick up in the first place. I have little energy to work with. So if I'm going to go waste it, I'm going to be flatlined. I'm not going to be able to do the thing that I'm here to do. So they have to be invited. The second part to it is, was I recognized? There's a difference between a recognized invitation and a regular invitation. I did it at Manifestivals with Lenny. Lenny is a self-projected projector, and I think his story is really cool, and I shared with him, like, this is like a regular invitation, and this is a recognized invitation. A regular invitation for him was like, hey, Lenny, I see that you're leveraging TikTok for your business. You have a great following, and I can tell that you're making a lot of money from it. Would you mind showing me what you're doing on TikTok so I can do it by my business? He's like, yeah, I could show you what I'm doing. And it's just like a blasé, like, whatever, sure, yeah, no problem. A recognized invitation is, Lenny, I see that you're leveraging TikTok as a platform to connect with other young individuals and show them how to break out of generational traumas, financially, and show them through your authentic way of showing up how they can be even more authentic in their lives. You're changing people's lives, and I would love to know, if I were to pay you, if you could show me how I can connect to my audience on TikTok in the same way.
What's the what are the two different?
The two differences, I just see you as a tool that's going to help me win. The second one is I see you as a human, as a gift, as something special beyond.
And you're speaking to a projector, or you are a projector?
I'm speaking to a projector.
Okay.
So I'm recognizing the projector as this whole ass gift that's attached to his humanity.
But doesn't everybody want to be recognized?
I think everybody wants to be recognized, but recognition does something different for a projector than everybody else. The projection is their fuel source. The recognition is their fuel source. That's precisely where the manifestor gets plugged into from source to do the thing, the projector gets plugged into source. And it's the recognition that plugs them into it. Because then that recognition has me feeling seen, heard, valued. Because the only thing a projector wants to do is give their love, but the only thing that they ask for in return is to feel seen, heard, and valued. That's all they. I don't need to feel seen, heard, and valued to do the thing that I'm going to do. I'm just going to go get the work done because I want to get the work done.
Yeah.
That's very often like getting validation is nice, but it's not I don't feed on it.
Yeah.
That is their nutrition, is recognition. So for them, I'll never forget his face. Snorted. I'll never forget his face when I gave him just the regular invitation versus the recognized invitation. When I gave him the recognized invitation, his eyes started like expanding out of his head, and he was holding on, like he couldn't even hold himself because he felt so deeply seen, heard, and valued. They never get seen often enough because they just want to give love, and every time they give love any which way, they're always being pushed away. So any type of love, they're like, oh my God, I've never felt anything like this. So he was like, yeah, let's do it. Like he was ready in that moment to be like, screw the rest of this presentation, let's go do this right now.
Yeah.
That's the energy that fuels them. It protects their sacral from burnout, so they can do the thing that they're here to do, and it doesn't just get the work done. Projectors are really special. They can do things in a way that nobody else can because they have the gift of foresight. So they can do it in a way that's just it's just different. And yeah, they can do it really well when they're just being invited, but when they're recognized, blast off, take them to the power of 9. I have a manifestor client with a projector husband, and she was like, how do I get my husband to help me on these things that he normally does, but I need it done by this time. I need it done by a certain, area of time because I have other things I need to do. And sometimes I can tell he doesn't, he is just taking his time because of his energy or whatever, but I'm like, I need that now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So how can I inform him that I need that? And I was like, it's all about how you invite him. Hey babe, I love so much when you clean my car. When you clean my car, I feel like the most special woman in the world because you leave me little treats, and I know you're getting in little nooks and crannies that drives me nuts that the other cleaners can't get into or just don't get into. And when I'm driving my car, I'm going into this work thing that I'm going into knowing that I'm the most special woman in all of the world or whatever. And I just have this event that's coming up at this time, this day. I was wondering if you'd be able to do this then. You will go to your car one day, and the next it'll have a jetpack on it. You will literally see this thing shine and move and with ease that has never happened before. It's a Tesla now,
Yeah.
You will just see it completely, his work completely transform for the better because of that recognition. When you recognize them, they can get deeper inside what they can offer the world. So really, they're here to share that gift with others, and they need to be invited. So was I invited? Yes, I was invited, or no, I wasn't invited, then it's a no. Was I invited? Yes. Was I recognized? No, then it's a no. Was I recognized? Yes, I was recognized. Here's what I'll say. The last part to it is what does my authority say? Recognition is intoxicating. It's blinding. Projectors don't get enough of it. So when they do get it, it's literally watching Lenny. He was like, let's do it right now. Literally, he couldn't even help himself. He just needed to get going. And I have another client, she says I'm a slut for recognition. My boss knows what to say to me, and he says it the right way, and I'm bending over backwards for him doing tasks that I wake up to, and I'm like, how did I get bamboozled into doing this thing? Why am I doing this thing I hate doing? Why would I say yes to this? It's because the recognition is blinding. They're saying yes to anything because maybe if I do this, you'll give me more recognition.
Yeah.
It's not about chasing recognition. It's just about seeing when recognition shows up and then following my gut, or not the gut, but following my authority to know whether this is correct for me or not. So what does my authority say is the third part to it. There's different authorities for the projector. So manifestors, there's a couple different types of manifestors. The sacral being, there's either the generator or the emotional generator, and the manifesting generator or the emotional manifesting generator is only the two. And the projector, there's several. There's the emotional projector, the splenic projector, the self-projected projector, the mental projector. So there's a couple different types. So every authority operates differently, but for time's sake, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will go through the emotional solar plexus for